Happening, guys? Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, the Black Business School. I'll give you guys time to come into the conversation as we get started. In fact, actually, I really love this song that Garvey G put together for me for this podcast. Garvey G is a young rapper out of Arizona, and I hope you guys like it. You may have heard it. I assume you've heard it, but I feel like just obligated to this brother that I'm so obligated. I'm gonna play a song almost every single time I start up, just because I just think it's such a cool thing. And let me see if I can get this thing to play. Here we go.
Here we are, clearing the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money and the power, never be fake. Stick to code, stop for three. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same poverty at your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10, 3 PhDs, that be on the scene. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV.
All right. And now the reason I share this song is because I have so much respect for what our young people are doing. I love it when young people are really trying to get it together, trying to make a way to be successful in this world. I believe that it is our responsibility as adults to clear as much of a path for them as we can. It is our responsibility to leave a better world for them than the one that we came into. It is our responsibility to make sure that they are good. And so everybody in the chat, everybody who has children that are going to be good, then I want you to say, my kids are good. My kids will be good. I want you to say, or just type the word good in the chat if your family's going to be good because you were here, if they're going to be taken care of because you were here, bed for the future, because we know it's very important as a community to take care of your own. You got to take care of your own. A lot of y'all are struggling right now because somebody took care of you. Somebody died without even thinking enough about you to get a life insurance policy. Somebody didn't, they never taught you the basics of economics and how to get ahead in this world. Somebody didn't make sure you got a good education. Somebody didn't think about you in terms of making sure that you had assets that you could pass on to your children, or that will protect you from white supremacy. So I lay this out here because I want you to understand that the operative word for this week anyway, you guys know that the number one word for the century is resources. We must accumulate resources as a people. That should be our number one objective. The word for today will be good. Our kids should be good. My kids will be good. I want your kids to be good. You can start right there by just make sure you have life insurance. Like, that's some basic ass shit that a lot of us don't do. That's just trifling. It's tacky as hell. Tell me, I don't know if y'all agree with me. Give me a yes or no if you follow what I'm saying. It is tacky as hell. That life insurance don't cost you much more than a couple buckets of Popeye's chicken. And we got people that still won't get around to getting life insurance for their own damn children. I hate to say it to you. I hate to break it like this, and I'm not trying to be mean. But if you don't think enough about your children to be covered with life insurance, then some people would say you don't love your kids. Some people say you don't care nothing about them. You think, oh, well, I'm gonna always be here. I'm gonna take care of them. Well, what if you're dead? What if you're disabled? What if you have a stroke and you can't move your body, and you can't talk? Like, I mean, seriously, like, you need to think about these things, man. And I don't know why we don't. It's okay. I mean, it's okay because, it's a slave training. We were very highly trained slaves. We were the super slaves of the world. We were the most dynamic and most capable slaves in the history of all mankind. So it kind of makes sense that coonery would be in our blood, because I got it in my blood. I got the coonery in my blood too. But you got to get it out of your system. You got to break it out. You got to start thinking about the future and not just the present. That's very important for your survival and survival of your children. Feel free to shout out your city. Shout out the city that you're from. Let me know what city you're coming in from, and what life insurance company do you recommend. I'm gonna tell you where I get my life insurance from. There's a nice lady named Yolanda Spivey who I love, and I've worked with her for many, many years. And Yolanda, her website is theblackinsurancenetwork.com, theblackinsurancenetwork.com. I think that's what it is. Let me make sure. Let me check the URL. Hit the thumbs up button while I do that. And what's up, everybody on Instagram? I see you guys over there. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. So we have real conversations about real black issues. Just be prepared to be offended, because I don't give a shit what people think. If you go to theblackinsurancenetwork.com, you can go there. Tell Yolanda I sent you. so that she knows how much I care about supporting her Black business. Her phone number here is 833-BUY-BLACK, and you spell black without the C. So it's BLAK, 833-BUY-BLACK. That's a good number. Okay. All right. Perfect. I love it. All right, guys. So let me jump into the conversation I wanted to have today. I wanted to, I had some people come to me and ask me about women, recently. They asked me about my support of Black women, particularly support on my platform. I know that there's a brother that I just respect so much and I just love so much. And I met him only one time in Chicago at an event that he hosted with myself. Dr. Claude Anderson was invited. And his name was Jason Black, and he runs a channel called The Black Channel, The Black Authority. I think that's the name he goes by. And I like Jason a lot, and Jason and I are cool. When he released his documentary, 7 a.m., I had Tariq Nasheed on my platform to promote the documentary because I believe in building the new Black Hollywood. And Jason and I have had a couple of conversations, and I just respect this brother a lot. But there was one, there was a great video he did recently where he really did a great job of deconstructing what's really been going on as far as like some of the craziness with the ADOS movement. I think that there's a little bit of a beef with him and Antonio More, one of the co-founders of ADOS. And Antonio, is a guy that I've worked with before. He's actually a guy that I've actually supported on my platform. He's not so much of a fan of me, but honestly, I'm getting to the point where I kind of believe like he and Yvette Carnell kind of hate everybody that's Black. They kind of hate everybody that isn't in their circle or anybody who isn't helping them to become more famous or whatever it is, right? So they kind of so the game on YouTube typically tends to be, you use somebody's name, you throw shots at them, and then they respond, then you start a beef, and it helps elevate your profile if the person is bigger than you. And so that's why a lot of shots get thrown at me, because literally putting my name in a video will get you lots of views and stuff like that. So it is what it is. It's fine. It's part of the game. It took me time to figure it out, but now I understand how the game works. But anyway, Jason did a great video with a deep, detailed analysis on, everything happening, as far as ADOS. And the key idea here that I pick up from all the commentary, you can feel free to go check the video out. It's a good video, well researched, is, we need to be unified, that it doesn't make any sense for us to be sitting there just, fighting over every silly little issue, I think he mentioned, I don't know if he mentioned all of this, but my God, if you're creating a movement that's supposed to represent all Black people in the fight for reparations or all descendants of slaves, and you got all this unnecessary chaos, to attacks on Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, attacks on Farrakhan, attacks on Jay Morrison, attacks on Dr. Claude Anderson, attacks on Pan-Africanism, attacks on everybody who believes in doing for self. That's kind of crazy. Like, that's a lot, right? That's like hugely, complicated. It's unnecessarily complicated. It's like, why don't we attack white people? Why don't we do, expose documentaries on Popeye's chicken and how much poison they're putting in the refried diabetes that they're selling to every Black neighborhood in America, right? Like how many pieces of chicken does it take to actually have your first heart attack? Like why don't we analyze stuff like that as opposed to chopping away at our own limbs and attacking, like literally stabbing yourself in the chest over and over again by attacking people who would be your natural allies, right? Because I think that we have enough of a niche, small group that we don't need to be further slicing, further dividing, but a lot of those divides are created, already. And I don't know if those wounds can ever be healed. I think it's unfortunate because I think the ADOS movement had a lot of momentum, that was going in, and a lot of people don't trust it anymore. They're like, what are you doing? Like, why are you attacking all the people that we love? Like, this doesn't make any sense. You should be attacking white supremacy, not other Black people who just think about the same issue in a slightly different way from you. Right. So Jason, and I think even Jason's video was a reflection of the fact that they made a bad enemy out of Jason. I think that there was an attack on Jason. And I'm like, well, I don't think it's necessary to attack the brother. You might not agree with him. Like, I disagree with Jason sometimes, but I would never be like, man, to hell with him, blah, blah. It's just kind of crazy. Right. So anyway, so Jason did his video, it's kind of an ether type video. And you're seeing a lot of that online right now, because I think people get hurt. People are upset, like, why are you messing with me, man? Like, I didn't even do nothing to you. Like, I wasn't trying to even fuck with you, and so long story short, that's what I picked up from the video. Now, here was the interesting thing. So Jason, he brought my name to the conversation a couple of times in a very respectful way, in a way where I wasn't offended at all, in a way where I'm very, very, how can I say this? I wouldn't say concerned, but I would say I am very conscious of making sure that I stay friends with my friends, right? that I do all I can to open that door to friendship, meaning that I believe that a basic code of conduct for Black people, it could be, if you're prominent, whatever that means, right? If you have a big platform, which I guess I do, I have a few 100,000 people that follow me, stuff like that. And you have an issue with another person who's also got a big platform, as opposed to launching nuclear missiles at each other from across the sea, try to see if you can get on the phone with each other, or at the very least, if you address each other, try to address each other in an incredibly respectful way, unless you want to be disrespectful. So with Jason, I have not had a chance to talk to Jason. I don't know where his number's at. If Jason hears any of this conversation and has any questions, clarifying questions, he can always call me. That's what I do with Tariq. But in case you want to know, like Tariq and I talk. If we have a disagreement, we'll just talk about it. Jay and Morrison and I, if we have a disagreement, we'll talk about it, and we'll say, okay, how much of this do we really want to talk about publicly? How much of this do we want to stay away from? That kind of thing. So anyway, I think when you talk about being on code, I think that's really important, right? I think that you got to pick your battles, right? And I think that if you're picking every battle, which I think is a mistake that the ADOS leadership made, is they picked a lot of battles, and I think it's like, I don't believe it's working for them. I believe that a lot of Black folks are repelled from what could have been a righteous cause because they started to see so many things that disturb them, right? And so I don't know where this is going to go. I think that we still have a Black agenda. We're still Black people. We're still descendants of slaves. We can still talk about reparations. But I think a lot of people have taken the ADOS hashtag and attached it to negative connotations. Another example of a bad enemy to make was Talib Kweli. I think they attacked Talib Kweli, and who's very respected in the conscious community. And if you notice, Talib has spent literally, like, I think a year, like, on a mission to destroy ADOS, like on a mission, right? And that's the thing. Sometimes if you're poking the dragon and you create this unnecessary battle with somebody, you spend more time defending yourself and fighting than you spend actually building. Building and destroying are two different types of energy, and it's hard to do both. It's hard to destroy and to fight while you're still building at the same time. It's very difficult to do, because everything you build, your enemy is going to come destroy it before you ever get a chance to even grow into something relevant. So those are my thoughts on some of this. And I'm sure someone will attack me for what I said, because that's the energy that we have in this world. But I just want you guys to know, I don't think I need to even really engage in a lot of this stuff in order to do what I do, because y'all know what I'm all about. Y'all see me every day, sometimes 3-4 times a day, because I want you guys to know I'm in it with both feet. And whatever you like, you can take. If you don't like it, then you can leave some of that. But you guys know who I am and what I represent, for good or bad. Now, here's one point I'll make on this too. Do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, we really need you to do that. That's very important. Also, feel free to subscribe to our social media platform. We build our own. It's blackenough.com. Facebook bans Black people a lot, and I believe at some point they're going to come through with bigger bans where they're going to start really wiping the slate clean entirely. And I know at some point I'm going to be removed. I just know it's going to happen. So we created Black Enough as a preemptive strike, as a preemptive plan to prepare for when I eventually get kicked off Facebook, right? So go to sign up at blackenough.com. You can join for free. You can find people in your own city that you can actually network with and get together with and invest with and things like that. So it's really a great gathering spot for Black people. But anyway, one point I want to definitely drill into for a second is the topic of women. I know Jason brought this up, and Jason, I mean, he laid into me really good toward the end of that video in a way that I deserved, in a way that I didn't even completely disagree with. And he was basically saying, as a man with credentials, as a man who's actually got, experience in your field, who's got expertise in a certain area, why are you letting people have access to your platform who don't have that same level of expertise? Why are you letting these destructive people into your platform? And the people I think he was referring to mostly was probably Yvette Carnell, who I supported Yvette for many years. Yvette, didn't have much of a platform when she came. Her site Breaking Brown, I helped her build that site. I said, look, let me support you. Let's do like a partnership. And we did a partnership. I basically helped her promote it, and it built up, over time. And if you go back to my Your Black World channel, yourblackworld.net, you'll see where she has videos on my channel where she's asking people to subscribe to her channel, right? So you can imagine how I felt, how hard it was to deal with, when we had our divide, and she was kind of, saying a lot of really nasty things about me and stuff like that. And I ain't gonna lie and pretend like it didn't hurt. It hurts your feelings when somebody that you feel like you're friends with just suddenly is like, I hate him, screw him, blah, blah, blah. But then eventually I learned it's part of the game. It's just part of the game, And so, but here's the thing, first thing I'll say is, in terms of Yvette, I think that the strategic error that they made when I stepped out, when I basically made my first statement about ADOS, I was extending an olive branch to say, despite our differences, I support the ADOS movement. This was like literally a year and a half ago. I retract that statement now. I wouldn't make a statement like this now, but I support the ADOS movement because I believe in reparations. And immediately there was a response, a very sharp response. We don't want you to be a part of this. You're going to co-opt this, go away, blah, 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 blah. And so, of course, I'm a man. I'm gonna be like, well, fuck you too. Like that's how you respond, right? You're like, okay, well, then fuck you, then whatever, right? But I felt like it was a strategic error because I'm sitting there thinking, wow, if you got on the phone with me, like, I think I could have been a great supporter of you. Like, I could have been a friend to you. Like, I think I could have really helped you really make this thing go. I'm not the biggest guy in the world, the most important guy in the world, but I've got people that follow me. And if I believe in something and I endorse it, there are people that will listen to that. So now you've kind of, created one unnecessary division that I don't think helps your cause. It ain't about doing what's right for me. And then it's not even about doing what's right for the world, but at the very least, if you're doing right for yourself, you're better off. The best way to deal with an enemy is to turn that enemy into a friend. And smart, people in politics, that's what they do, and I think I just didn't understand that. Right. And then, of course, there were the further attacks, on Claude Anderson and Louis Farrakhan and Jay Morrison and Francis Cress Welsing and Pan-Africanism and Talib Kweli. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, you're creating all these hurdles for yourself. So it's going to be really hard for you to get this thing off the ground because now you got a big pack of people that want to kill you, a big pack of people that want to take you out, right? And they live right in your backyard, and there's that old saying that you don't shit where you eat. So when you're really starting a lot of fights right in the Black community, you're really going after people that are right next to you. They understand you. They have audiences that overlap with yours, and it can cause you a lot of issues, right? So which is very different from, say, attacking Mitch McConnell, right, or Fox News. Right, there's not an overlap there, right? So, long story short, I didn't understand that part because my door was open. I sent even text messages to say, hey, why don't we talk about this? Like, what is it that you're upset about? Let's talk. Let's figure this out. Let's just unify. Let's have a debate. Let's do a public debate. And I think people would love that, right? And I never got a response from that. So moving forward, Jason basically brought up something that I've really questioned myself about, where I've been like, damn, like, what the fuck is going on here? He basically was like, how come you created these women that have become such a problem for other people? And he's talking about Yvette. There's another one. I won't even say her name because I think she's still pretty fired up. So y'all know who I'm talking. Some of y'all know, some of y'all don't, but I'm not even gonna say the name because I'm not trying to start that, etc. And now here's the deal. I had to think about that a lot. When I saw it happen, it's I'm gonna tell you guys, just being 100% real with you, it is absolutely surreal to see a person where you remember when they didn't have a platform, when nobody knew who they were, and they blow up and you help them blow up because you saw the talent. Like, that's what happened. I'll see somebody, I'll be like, oh wow, this person's really smart. Let me see what I can do to partner and support the person. And you see them blow up, and then they go out into the world and create all this chaos, right? And even the ones that you're mentioning right there, that's not even the whole list. There's actually more out there, right? I mean, I'm talking about even the rapper Young M.A. was born on my platform. Go look it up. Go look at rapper Young M.A., who became the biggest rapper in New York, one of the biggest rappers in the world, was born on my Facebook page. She has videos saying this, right? This is not me speculating. This is what actually occurred. Go back. Mark Lamont Hill is a guy that I mentored very early in his career. I remember Mark calling me and saying, I want to be on TV like you. How do I do it? And I just basically, because I believe in an open door support policy, I was like, well, here's what I think you should do. And this is what will work for you. This is based on your talent, blah, blah. So these people went and did great things. And what happens is that sometimes when people get really big, I think sometimes we overestimate how much power we have. I think that power is, I wouldn't say an aphrodisiac, that's the wrong term. It's intoxicating, right? To know that you can say something and a lot of people are going to listen. And especially if you've never had people listen to you before, it can really you can really start feeling yourself. Like you can really be out here like I'm the shit, you know, like I say jump, people are like, how high, you know, and people get caught in that, right? And everybody's affected by it. Everybody. I mean, think about it, I'm a man, like men especially, we have our egos, whatever, right? But there are women that have some of that as well. And I really remember having to soul search and make sure I'll be like, okay, boys, are you doing this for yourself or are you doing this for the community? Or, you know, or like even when I had the bigger platform, I was like, I don't know if I feel my conscience feels good about only using this for me. Like, yeah, I got a few 100,000 subscribers, but I feel like if there are smart people out here that have something to say, I should give them access to the platform too, because that's what's best for the world, right? It's not just what's best for me. And so, I did share my platform. Now I've shared it with a lot of people. One thing I think Jason, I want anybody to get, you know, because Jason did a great video on it, and I'm not even disagreeing with his critique, because there have been times where I've been like, God damn, like, what did I do? Like, man, and I feel bad. Like, I wanted to apologize to Tariq, because I'm like, man, I know you fought. A couple of the women that you fought are women that were born on my platform, and I'm sorry for that, man. I apologize, you know. But here's the thing. Here's where I'm gonna lay out just, you know, additional perspective on it. Those are not the only people that I've supported. Those are not the only women I've supported. Like I mentioned to you guys, I've done business with Jason Black and Tariq Nasheed, and I promoted Jason Black's documentary 7 a.m. I interviewed Tariq to talk about the documentary. You guys know I've shouted out these guys, and I love them. I respect them. I'm going to participate in Tariq's conference this summer. But in addition to that, you know, in terms of women, let's just start with women. There are lots of amazing women that I've worked with who have stayed on code, who have been extraordinary people, who have gone on to really help the world to use their power in a very good and productive way. Not every, you know, the thing is, you know, if you invest in 10 people, 2 or 3 of them are going to usually be flops. Like something bad is going to come out of that, right? They'll get mad at you, or it won't go right, or whatever. But the other 7 or 8 is why you keep going, right? So, you know, in terms of women, you know, Danielle Pierce has been on my platform a lot. She's a real estate expert. She is awesome on code, very professional, and a damn good asset to the world. She's helping thousands of people learn how to invest in real estate right now. Vicki Dillard is an absolute beast right now. I mean, in terms of just what she's doing to change the world, make the world a better place. She is a godsend. I mean, she is a blessing to the world. You know, and she actually came out of our space. Nomalanga Mushali Moses out of Botswana is really, she's very well known now in South Africa and Botswana, and as well as other parts of the world, but particularly those places. Dr. Julianne Malveaux has come through. Dr. Julianne Malveaux, you know, a PhD from MIT, sharp sister, you know, excellent credentials. You know, she wasn't born out of our space, but this is somebody we support. Faye Bishop is one person that you've seen on the platform. Faye's actually in the chat right now. How you doing, Faye? You know, Faye is really sharp, and she represents the essence of what I see as the strong Black women that hold our shit together. Like, these are the women that are 100% real, 100% powerful, and the list goes on and on. There's Jade Arendelle. Many of you have seen Jade Arendelle, the Lioness Crown. That's her Instagram name. Chanel is she goes by the name of Madam President, Chanel Walker, and she now works. She's actually she's the assistant to the president at Oprah Winfrey, or the Oprah Winfrey Network, right? And so now she's doing great things in Hollywood. She worked at Tyler Perry Studios. Then she went to work at work for Ava DuVernay, and now she works at the Oprah Winfrey Network. And I remember connecting her with certain people so that certain things could get done. She's actually done a lot of film projects with us. Victory Boyd is a singer, best singer you've ever heard. She's singing at our wedding live, which everybody's invited. And she, you know, we put her on the page. She blew up, and she says that when she blew up on the page, that's when Jay-Z and everybody else started paying attention to her. Before that, she'd been signed by Roc Nation, but she said once we put her on the page, that got her the attention she needed for them to start investing in her. Now she's on tour with Kanye. I mean, the list goes on and on and on in terms of people that we've helped, that where it went really well. And so, and then in terms of men, I mean, there's a long list of men that we work. I mean, you guys see Dr. Claude Anderson on here every single week. You've seen the rapping professor, who's a brilliant guy. Kenny Gamble has come through here. Dr. George C. Frazier. If you go to the Black Financial Channel, that's theblackfinancialchannel.com, which was a platform we created, which is a daily financial news and commentary platform from a Black perspective. It's got tens of thousands of subscribers. So if you're interested in financial topics, go to theblackfinancialchannel.com. And so like you go there, it's scattered with literally Black millionaires and billionaires. And now the reason you don't know as much about some of these people is because too many of our people are focused on the drama. Too many people will give attention to the drama and the loud Negroes and won't pay attention to the smart Negroes or the smart Black people. How about this? Because if you're smart, you ain't a Negro no more. You're now a Black person. You're a warrior, right? You have guys like Ryan McCrary, who's out of Philadelphia, financial expert. Like these, so there are lots of people out here that. So my point would be to say, do I regret, kind of working with certain people where it didn't go well? I mean, of course I do, right? It's just like, like shit, man, I should have spent my time helping somebody else, because like it's like giving, it's like when the US would give weapons to the Taliban, and then the Taliban like attacks the US or blows up the World Trade Center, right? Or whatever, right? Or they're using those weapons to fight them in the middle, like it's kind of like that, in the sense that you know that you helped them and it didn't work out, and that's fine. But here's the deal. This is where I'm gonna summarize. I will say this, with all complete due respect, of course, to anybody who disagrees. I will never, ever, in 10 trillion years, ever, not on your life, stop supporting Black women. I will never, ever, ever abandon the people from which I came. I will never walk away from that. I don't give a shit. Here's the deal. I already know. I've already wrote off the fact that I know for a fact that I'm going to be backstabbed by probably another 200 people before my career is over. I already know. And sometimes you might get stabbed in public. Sometimes people watching you, like you on the stage like Malcolm, people watching you get shot by somebody that used to be your friend. I know it's going to happen. I've already written it into the big picture. I already know what's going to occur, because sometimes you start off with the best of intention and shit just don't go right. Sometimes it just don't work out. Sometimes somebody has a mental illness that you didn't know about, right? Sometimes some people are Trojan horses. Sometimes some of these Negroes might even be COINTELPRO. Nobody knows. COINTELPRO has attacked people who've done less than what we're doing right now, right? So you don't know what's going to happen, but here's the thing. There's a learning process where where over time you get better at vetting people out, while at the same time not letting your heart go dark and feeling that the best way to avoid ever being hurt or disappointed again is to put up a wall and block everybody out. That's not the right strategy. That's not the right way to invest in the Black community. In fact, if I were to succumb to this ideology, then I would be actually participating in the very same energy that keeps the Black community from growing and unifying right now. The reason that you can't build businesses together is because you're scared as fuck of each other, because you traumatize each other. The reason that your marriages don't last is because you hurt each other's feelings and you're always attacking each other, right? The reason that it's difficult to form unity, even on a topic as simple as reparations, is because you've been trained to hate each other, to destroy each other, and to ultimately fear each other. And so, strength is not measured by your ability to put up walls and bark at everybody that comes by. Strength is measured by your capacity to continue to love, despite the fact that when you open your heart, somebody's going to put a dagger in it. And I can just tell you, I really believe and maybe I'm not there. I want to get there, but the strongest part of my body is going to be my heart. If you want to know what my goal is, the strongest part of my body is and will be my heart. And I'm prepared for it. Doesn't mean I'm going to be stupid now. Doesn't mean I'm going to, doesn't mean I don't know warning signs now. Doesn't mean I don't peek out people's personalities and watch them carefully before I decide how much access to power I'm going to give them. Doesn't mean I don't ask around about people, or doesn't mean I don't keep a distance. Like, hey, I don't want to meet this person's working with us. I don't want to meet that person for another year, right? Like, let me know in a year if that person knows how to stay on code. Let me know in a year if that person is consistent and professional. Let me know in a year if that person is somebody, let me know what kind of person are they? How do they deal with, how do they treat their enemies? That's what I like to know. Not just how you treat your friends, but how do you treat your enemies? Because I can tell you at the end of the day, there's ways to handle disagreements and disputes. And in fact, the greatest indicator of your ability to maintain a relationship with anybody is not how you do when you're getting along. The question is, what is the quality of your fighting? How do you fight? Right? So there are some people, like, for example, of Islam, they talk extensively about this. You don't think they have disagreements in the Nation of Islam? You don't think they have brothers and sisters that want to go at each other? Yeah, they do. But they establish rules for fair fighting. And these rules are structured in such a way that they're able to stay on code and not blow up the whole building because somebody hurt your feelings or made you mad. And that's the problem. You have people that, because they're hurt by somebody, they feel that gives them a license to destroy everything that is strong and good and relevant and meaningful, and to just literally just throw the whole kitchen sink at a person. And that's pretty much how many of us operate in the community, but that's not everybody, right? So ultimately, I like to know, how do you treat your enemies? Another guy that I worked with, I haven't talked much about this and I never will. Another guy I worked with a lot was Damon Dash. Y'all know Dame Dash. I had Dame Dash on the platform a lot. Dame Dash and I did a whole platform together called Intelligent Boss Moves. Dame Dash and I, we were buddies. We were like brothers. Dame Dash and I are not like brothers anymore, but you'll never know, because I will never, ever feel like I need to go out here and kick him when he's down, attack him in public. And y'all seen Dame in the news. Dame has been in the news quite a bit lately. And if I wanted to just be messy with it, I could have been like, well, let me just tell you what I know and let me tell you blah, 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 blah. But you don't do that. I will never do that. If you ask me about Damon Dash, I will say nothing but favorable things, not because I think he's a perfect man, but because I choose to focus on the good of him as opposed to the bad. I choose to focus on the fact that he was more of an asset to me than a liability. I choose to focus on the fact that even when things don't work out perfectly, I had a productive and positive experience working with him. But at the same time, I'll be honest with you and say, do I work with him? No, I don't. Am I going to work with him? Probably not. Right. So that's my point. So at the end of the day, I support Black women for the same reasons Black women support Black men. When you ask me, like, Boyce, why do you let anybody with ovaries onto your platform? Well, first of all, that's not true. I think that that's not cool to say that about women. I think every woman that's ever been on my platform, she was there because she has some sort of value that she could add. Even the worst ones, even the one, even like an Yvette Carnell, who might be a prototype of somebody who I don't get along with so well. Even Yvette, you can say a lot of things about Yvette, and believe me, I could. But you can't say she's stupid. You can't say that she doesn't know a couple of things about politics and things like that. So I think to insinuate that women just get access because they have ovaries, I think that is, you have to be careful about statements like that, because that's like a white guy getting mad at another white guy and saying, well, you just let anybody with black skin in here because this Negro's causing trouble, and you need to stop letting these Negroes into your business. You need to stop letting these Negroes onto your platform, right? I don't think that's the right way to look at it, honestly. I support the Black woman for the same reasons that a lot of Black women support us. So when you ask me, like, Dr. Boyce, why would you keep supporting these women when these women have hurt you? Well, that's like asking a Black woman, like, why do you keep loving Black men? Your daddy was a Black man. He abandoned you. Your uncle was a Black man. He molested you when you were little. You had a Black boyfriend and he beat you up when you were older. You met another Black man that you trusted and he sexually assaulted you. How can you keep loving the Black man despite the fact that all these men did these terrible things to you? Well, her answer would be very simple. That she's committed to Black men, that she knows that all Black men are not bad people. All Black men are not predators. She knows that the Black men who've harmed her are not representative of the entirety of what it means to be a Black man in America. Do you know how many Black women there are? I mean, seriously, like, when you talk about being traumatized or whatever, believe me, it was traumatic for me at times when I would see somebody that I was close to suddenly, saying things that weren't very nice. But do you know my trauma is nothing compared to what a lot of Black women go through. Do you know how many extremely traumatized Black women there are who refuse to give up on Black men? Do you understand this? And what I'm really doing is I really want to appeal to the conscious community. And when I say conscious, I'm talking about those who are not conscious, because you got unconscious Black people, and then there's conscious Black people, right? So I'm talking to the conscious folks who are aware, awake, woke, thinking about things, processing things, who want to do better. I want to appeal to the conscious community to understand why we must include women in our conversations. We must include women in our leadership. We must include those women who have voices that can add value to the discussion, that are going to make us better. Because I'm just going to tell you the truth. I believe that as men, we've had some successes, but we've had a lot of failures in leadership. And I have seen a lot of men leading who are not qualified to lead. I've seen a lot of men get a lot of support where they're not qualified to receive that support. I've seen a lot of men get a lot of power where they weren't mature or disciplined enough to use that power in an effective way. So if you ask me, would I choose a qualified woman to lead over an unqualified man? Well, the answer is absolutely motherfucking yes. It makes no sense to say otherwise. It does not mean that we don't have gender roles. It does not mean that there's not a natural leadership role that the Black man is supposed to take. It does not mean that our community can never rise without the help of the Black man. We know that we need the Black man in order for Black people to become great again. In order for us to re-rise and to resurrect ourselves to where we were, in ancient Kemet, we are going to need the Black man, and we're going to have to do everything we can to get the Black man off the floor, right? But I think when we talk about women in a way that naturally subordinates or subjugates them, I can't defend that. I still remember when there was a woman on my YouTube channel. Her name was Maria. She did a video about Umar Johnson, and Maria actually was a person that I had a relationship with. And she did the video about what Umar. I didn't know much about the video. I saw it. I didn't really care. I'm a scholar and I believe in freedom of speech. So I don't give a shit if people, like, when people come in, my goal, honestly, because I'm from academia, academics are supposed to really believe in intellectual freedom and freedom of expression, freedom of thought. Right. So that's where I come from. It's like, okay, whatever you say is cool. Just as long as you're expecting me to believe what you believe, like, I'm okay with that, right? That's why I don't understand this idea of losing friends because you disagree, right? So, for example, like, I could sit in a room and listen to an Yvette Carnell. I've had Yvette come to, I invited her to the All Black National Convention back in 2015 or 2016. And she spoke and she said a lot of things that I didn't agree with, but I didn't care because I don't take it personally if somebody disagrees with me. I just try to understand their point of view. And so anyway, so she did this video about Umar. And believe me, Umar was heated. Umar was mad. And she wasn't disrespectful, though. She basically just asked, like, okay, you got this school. Where's the money? Like, like, people are asking about the money. Where's the money? Did you create a board? Like, can you show us something? Can you give us some documentation to show us what the progress you're making? Like, where's this school? And I didn't have an issue with people asking hard questions. I think asking hard questions is fine. Answer the questions. Like, and then the criticism goes away, right? And I remember that Umar seemed to feel that I put her up to it. Umar seemed to feel that this woman did not have the ability to come up with her own ideas. And, oh, she's a puppet for you. You made her do this. And I'm like, I don't come from that world. I don't come from that. My mother and my grandmother were my strongest influences in my life. And then my father was there as well. And I never saw a day where we somehow would tell women what to think and what to say. But they would kick you in your nuts if you were up here trying to tell my grandma what to say. Like, that just did not happen, right? So I didn't understand that. And so I kind of think, and then same thing. I think Vicky Dillard interviewed Umar, and it did not go well. I felt like Umar was disrespectful. I defended Umar when he interviewed with Roland Martin, because I felt like Roland went a little bit hard on him. But when he talked to Vicky, I didn't like him talking to a Black woman that way. I thought that was inappropriate. I didn't think that was cool. I think you can make your point without being an asshole about it. Just seriously, like, and so I think that, I think about these things, and I think about the way we view women in our community. I think we got a long way to go. I think that as Black people, we can do better. And again, I have much love and respect for Jason Black and the Black Authority and the Black Channel and all that. I would be happy to come on the Black Channel and to have a further discussion with him. because I have that respect for him. I don't do many interviews. I don't interview. People request interviews all the time. I say no 99% of the time, but I would go on his channel and talk to him, just to make sure that every point I have is abundantly clear. But I really think, that we have to have a space for women, and supporting women is something that we must do in order for our community to thrive, in order for our community to survive, in order for us to prosper as Black people. If we do not support women, we will lose. We will lose. So again, I can't control what everybody else does. I can't tell anybody what to do, nor would I ever try to do that. But I felt it was important at the end of the day to let you guys know that I will continue to support Black women. You will continue to see Black women that are on the platform. You will see Black men that are on the platform. You have Dr. Claude Anderson every Thursday on drboycetv.com, every Thursday at 2 o'clock. And we have Powernomics Thursday. So you will have lots of Black men as well. But I'm not going to sort of be afraid of Black women just because I had a couple where things didn't work out right. Most Black women I meet, 90-something% of the Black women I meet are on point and good people. And that's what I focus on. Okay, so I'm sharing this open. I don't even know how this is going to go. I didn't know how anybody was going to take this conversation, but I was on the treadmill today and I said, I want to talk about this shit. Let me just have a candid conversation with my people and let you guys know what I'm thinking. I don't expect you to agree with me, and here's the thing: a lot of the criticisms you might hear are probably valid critiques. Shit, I even questioned myself when he said that. I said, damn, he's actually right. Like, right? Why don't I need to think about this and figure out why he's not 100% correct in what he just said? And I do think that he's correct. I think that it's, but I think at the same time, though, that would qualify as a person to speak on a platform should not just be, having a PhD like me. Like, I have a PhD and I respect PhDs, but there's a lot of dumbass PhDs out here. There's a lot of people that got their PhD, over the weekend on the internet, right? So I know a lot of people that don't have PhDs. I don't even know Jason Black has a doctorate or law degree or anything like that. I don't care. I know a smart person when I see one. I can identify intelligence without intelligence having to come with a piece of paper, right? Or I don't think that a person is disqualified just because they have a criminal record. I've had people say that to me. I've had people say, well, why would you work with that person? You know that they went to jail. I'm like, yeah, shit. Damn near the whole damn Black community done went to jail. Like, not everybody, but shit. I mean, how many of you, give me a yes or no, how many of you in this room right now have a relative who has done time in jail? Not just prison, but jail. How many of you have a relative who's been locked up at some point for something, including yourselves? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no if you've had somebody in your family locked up at some point in the last 20 or 30 years. There's a ton of people. There's a ton of people out here that have been locked up, right? So I'm not going to disqualify a person from the realm of intelligence just because they went to jail or just because they don't have a degree. And here's the thing. Sometimes they may have experience in something. Like Walter Cotton actually is on the Black Financial Channel. He has experience getting government contracts. So we're happy to have him come in and talk about getting government contracts. But then sometimes people don't have a lot of experience in a certain area, but they have training in that area, right? Sometimes they may not have experience or a lot of formal training, but may just be well read and really have a perspective in this, And so there are people like that. So ultimately, I think that we can't presume that because someone is female that they didn't go through a vetting process, or that somehow there was like something. A lot of times people might insinuate a sexual trait, and that's actually what is expected, right? Especially when you talk about a powerful Black man, everybody kind of feels like the powerful Black men, like all we do is we chase vaginas or whatever. And some men do that. And I will say, the only woman that was ever on my platform that I had a relationship with in that way was Maria, who did the Umar Johnson video, and that was because she was my girlfriend at the time. I just didn't talk much about it because I wasn't going to marry her, and I don't think we planned to get married. That just wasn't, just because you date somebody, I mean, you got to marry them. But you've seen Alicia as well, who I am going to marry, and I talk more about Alicia because that's going to be my wife. But really, I think to insinuate, Yvette Carnell dates women. Yvette was on there because I thought Yvette was smart. Michi X, I don't know anything about her situation. I know about her dating Tommy Sotomayor, which I thought was a little bit strange, but there's nothing that was there. Vicky Dillard, Vicky would probably want to slap you if you insinuated that she was sleeping her way to the top. And you can just go down the list. And I know the list, and I know that I know nothing happen with any of them, right? I think Paris Milan insinuated something to say that I was interested in doing whatever, but I was never in the room with her. I never invited myself in the room with her. I never asked her. I never said, hey, let's get together. None of that stuff. And I thought that was a little bit overboard to even make that kind of even subtle allegation toward a black man, because we deal with so much stuff already. I don't mess with little girls like that. That's not of interest to me. She's probably, I don't know, she's 23, 24 years old. That's not, I don't get down like that, because I've told you guys, black men got to be careful about where you put your penis. You don't drop your penis into any old sewage tank that walks by, or any old woman who wants to offer something to you, because that's how you get in trouble. That's how you end up. That's how people have something on you. So anybody, in fact, anybody who sleeps with another person, you should pretty much know that when you decide to sleep with that person, you're giving them leverage on you they can lose later, or they can use against you later. So you have to be thoughtful about that. So, you know, when I heard that insinuation, I was like, oh yeah, that's what a lot of people do, because if they want to smear somebody, will insinuate something, because people would expect it. They would think, oh, well, he's this guy who's got this power, so of course he's gonna want to. No, I don't rock like that. That's not intelligent, right? And plus, I'm 48 years old. Maybe if I was 28, maybe it would have been different, but 48, no. You learn that having access to a lot of women, it's very tempting. It's exciting, but eventually you learn it can create a lot of problems that you just don't want. So it doesn't mean that you don't indulge. It doesn't mean that you can't do what you want to do. You're grown. But I'm just warning anybody in here who's trying to become powerful or successful, watch who you get naked with. Because once you let that person in your soul, in your life, they can wreak all kinds of havoc and cause all kinds of damage. There's 1,001 stories in the news right now about some wealthy black man who's going through hell because he had a baby with the wrong woman, or because he slept with some thought at a strip club or whatever. You know, no conscious stripper controversies happening in this space ever, right? So, but don't mean I'm not a heterosexual man. I haven't had my life like shit. I live my life like everybody else, but it's something you have to be thoughtful about, right? So anyway, we went. Okay, got it. All right, she's telling her they'll be waiting in the car, so I gotta go, guys. So anyway, I know I said a lot today. I felt like I don't know, maybe because it's the Sabbath, I felt compelled to have a moment of honesty and lay things out for you. Take it as you want. I'm not going to address this again because I don't think it's productive to do so. But I will say, first of all, I want to say thank you, Jerome, for your donation. And thank you also very much for Chief for your support. It says Queen and Slim was trash. Blue Lives Matter propaganda. Oh, I didn't know. I thought Queen and Slim was a good movie. Okay, well, then thanks for that review. Sheesh. Whatever happened to Dr. Venetia Dutra? Dr. Dutra's still around. She teaches at the University of Denver, and she's just very busy, but she's still around. But anyway, I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day, and no disrespect implied for anybody in this conversation. You know, one thing I learned from Minister Farrakhan, I sat with Farrakhan for about 3 hours one time. And one thing he told me, I asked him this question, and I'm going to say this and I got to go. I asked him this question. I said, how do you deal with, people that unfairly criticize you? How do you deal with people that attack and it's not true and it makes you mad or whatever? You know what he said? He said, you have to accept that sometimes your critics are right. And he told me about Dr. Julianne Malveaux, and Julianne Malveaux, who comes on this channel a lot. He said, Julianne Malveaux, he said, Julianne Malveaux used to tear into me something awful, Dr. Watkins. And he learned that you can still hear what a critic has to say but still be comfortable in your truth. You can still move forward with your worldview. And then sometimes your critics can actually help make you better, And so when I heard some of the critiques, I didn't even think that they were wrong. I just said, let me figure out what's wrong about this and what's right about this. And that's where I stand. It's like, okay, some of it's right, but some of it I'm going to say, this is just who I am. It's going to be take it or leave it up in this motherfucker, because I'm not changing who I am unless I see fit, unless it's something that's absolutely necessary to change. So let's keep it rocking. Let's keep staying black. Let's keep it moving. And you guys have a great day. I got to run. My whole family's waiting for me. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Hit the thumbs up button. I'll talk to you later. Peace.